Hey, everybody, Mark Horner, Beyond 90 Seconds. And this is an unscheduled event, just late in the day, a development. Heard from my fine friend Christian Sasse up in, he's just outside of Vancouver, Canada in Surrey, regarding a wildfire situation, getting even closer to his summer home that's along the shores of Okanagan Lake in the upper Sonoran Desert part of southern British Columbia, to the east of where he's joining us tonight. Christian, I want to say, how are you? But I think the answer in part is going to be a bit apprehensive.
Yeah, thank you. Fortunately, we're well. I mean, we're lucky because we are here in Vancouver, but we got this wonderful summer house on the Okanagan because it's such a beautiful area, Mark. And we absolutely love it. I mean, I'm a wildlife photographer. I love nature. And they're just amazing people also in that area that we've become friends to. So, of course, we are in a lot of apprehension now.
For the benefit of the folks who didn't see us do a live stream earlier this week, in the middle of the week, when we talked about folks in your area being put on notice to be prepared to evacuate near that lake that's behind you in the photo. Tell us about the picture that's behind you. This is the view from your summer home at Okanagan Lake?
That's completely correct. So that lies between Vernon, which is in the north, and Kelowna on the south, on the west side of Okanagan Lake. It's more or less in the middle, exactly between them. And you usually have a very beautiful lake across. You can see how wide the lake actually is. It's quite wide, and it's a glacier lake, and it's very long. It's about probably 100 miles long if you take the whole length of the lake. And it's a very popular summer resort, and it's also got beautiful nature around.
Yes, indeed. We could talk a bit more about how your wildlife photography relates to the heat these past several weeks. But what I'd like to do right now, Christian, is we have some news to talk about, because that fire, the White Rock Lake Wildfire, has been on the move and edging closer to your summer home. But what I want to do right now is just to kind of help further orient folks and show them a map and a few other things here real quick. So let's bring up another source here. There we go. So here we're looking at Washington State in basically the lower left quadrant. And if we go north of central Washington, just across the border, so it's not far north of Washington State, we can begin to see that long vertical sliver of water at this view on the map anyway. It's actually, as Christian mentioned, many tens of miles long, Okanagan Lake. And Christian, his home, this is Kelowna. So on the right is Kelowna of that bridge, and on the left is West Kelowna, and Christian's up here somewhere.
That's
and
correct.
the fire itself has come from the west, near, I think, outside of Merritt, British Columbia, and it's kind of coming down from in this area, if I'm not mistaken.
That's completely correct. Yes,
and it's coming towards these communities.
Yeah, that's correct, Mark. My understanding is I couldn't even find I didn't even know White Rock Lake existed. It's a small lake, and that's in the area of Kamloops. So it's coming from the northwest, actually. And yeah, there you can see a view. Actually, that's a typical view that we have from our area, and you can see the smoke in the background coming up now. So the sky looks quite clear, but the winds have been picking up in the last hours. There you can see that's from just a few hours ago from some of our friends, the images, and it's looking, well, it's looking quite I would say threatening is maybe a mild word. So it's getting quite big, and unfortunately the winds are very strong at the moment. It's at the same time, I've just heard from a friend that who's got his house 10 miles north. Of course, their area has been already evacuated. This area where that you're seeing is not yet evacuated. So we're hoping it won't come to that, but the winds are so strong at the moment that it could very well be that this area will also be evacuated. There's only one road. It's called the West Side Lake Road, where it is possible to leave the area, and that is why it is so important to evacuate on time. So far, I mean, of course, everybody is very cooperative. At the moment, the winds are so strong that some think that it could jump the lake even. So it's very severe, unfortunately. And I think the next 24 hours are going to be very decisive, because after that, the temperature is also quite high at the moment, plus the winds have been picking up. And hopefully the temperature will drop. And we have a little bit of rain at the moment, which is quite amazing, but that could also be some local weather happening to the fire, which is very difficult to understand and predict.
When we were looking at these pictures, you said this area, this place, in general terms. What we're talking about is your neighborhood. This is the vantage point where your summer home that you just purchased earlier this year. This is your neighborhood with that view of that wall of smoke.
Yes, that just came from a few hours ago from some friends who are living there and who are ready now to be evacuated. So yeah, that's exactly right, Mark. I think the total fire, I forgot how many, something around 50,000 hectares at the moment. Yeah, there you are, 53,612 hectares. That is how large the fire is right now. And of course, because it's so incredibly dry. I mean, we haven't had rain. Well, we had just tiny bits of rain that immediately evaporates in the area. You must also think this is 50 degrees north, which is so unusual, right? If you think about it. But the very dry summer that we've had these record temperatures in British Columbia. You may have heard of that in Okanagan. Went past 110 Fahrenheit, which is incredibly high for quite a few days, and that was a precursor for the situation that we have now.
You mentioned that one road that is basically the lifeline for the people who live in there in an emergency situation. This article, which came out at 3:00 this afternoon in the Vernon Morning Star, and Vernon is along this lake just north of where Christian lives. And if we come down here, Westside residents warned White Rock Lake Wildfire expected to advance tonight. Okanagan Indian Band warns blaze to reach Whiteman's area by 6 p.m. So this is a fire that's very much on the move. Despite the rain that's been in the area today, it's expected to move pretty quickly this evening, and it's not going in a good direction, is it? It's still progressing towards where the communities are. And already the Okanagan Indian Band, I was reading this article, it mentions here approximately 1,050 OKIB, Okanagan Indian Band members, have been evacuated, in addition to several hundred people south of the reserve and hundreds more in the Monty Lake Falkland area. So people are being displaced, and this is a fire that's on the move, and no wonder there's apprehension. Christian, you have friends that you keep in contact, your new neighbors in that area, some just a few miles up the road north of you. Those folks, some of them have already evacuated, people that you know. Is that not right?
Yeah, that's completely correct. We've got some wonderful friends there who, I mean, these people are, I mean, this is their livelihood, of course. They live there and they work from there, and they've been wonderful. I mean, because I make so many wildlife broadcasts from there. That's why we went into the area, because I'm an absolute nature and wildlife lover. I've done a lot of my wildlife live streams from there, and and these people just came up to me. They were so friendly. They offered me drinks. They brought me umbrellas. They helped me in every possible way, and they had to evacuate their home now. That was one of the osprey nests that I was that I was broadcasting from on the Westside Lake Road, or Westside Road, that you just mentioned. And they don't even know if their home is still, if it still exists even. That's how difficult the situation is. So, yeah.
So for context, and Christian spoke about this in our previous interview midweek when we first started talking about this fire online in a live stream. Christian takes photographs and also live streams with an 800 millimeter lens. That's a big lens that gets you really close to wildlife from a respectable distance, where you're so close to that lens.
Here, Mark,
why don't you hold it up? Show us, Christian. Yeah, that'd be great.
It happens coincidentally. I have it.
How about that? You're like a regular. A friend Guy Cochran always has the tech toy nearby.
That's the monster. That's even. I mean, it gets even bigger, but that's the type of lens you need for wildlife.
Yeah. So it gets even bigger when you add the 2x converters and so on.
Yes.
You get the extra magnification, so you can be a couple hundred yards away, and
yes.
you can see the pigment in an eagle's or an osprey's eye. My point, though, Christian, is that what you shared with us is that it got so hot this summer while you were still there.
Yes.
That it appears to be the reason why the osprey chicks in that nest that you were live streaming did not survive.
Yeah, that's
it's the reason.
Correct.
And you went to 14 osprey nests, you and wildlife biologist, bald eagle expert David Hancock, looking for any surviving ospreys. Now, we can't say definitively, but you found no sign of life in 13 out of 14 osprey nests.
Yeah, that's completely correct. So you have to know that the body temperature of ospreys, or in general raptors, is higher than our own body temperature, and so they're actually very well equipped for surviving in warmer temperatures, because usually when the offsprings grow up, there's a critical phase before they can branch, which means they're getting ready to fly, and then where they do their first flight, and that's the critical phase. So usually the way they transpire or regulate the heat is through the tongue, right? The problem is so their body temperature is somewhere, I think, around 110 Fahrenheit. So that's just about 41 degrees Celsius for those of you who are thinking in Celsius. So if the temperature gets hotter there, the parents just go and dive in water. That's how you do it. You cool down by evaporation, right? That's how you do it, just like you cool off. It's a natural way to do it. But then, of course, there's no way that the little ones can survive. So many just jump out of the nest, and that's why there has been such a demand for rehabilitation centers also on the Pacific Northwest coast. It's not only Canada. This has been in Oregon, this has been in Washington and many other states. It's been a record number of savings of all kinds of raptors that we've never seen before.
Yeah, I want to touch on something there in just a moment, but first I want to let people watching and or listening know that you can definitely participate here. If you're watching on Zoom, there's a Q&A button at the bottom of the player, and just tap that and enter your question. We'd be happy to answer your questions. And you know what? Typically, we say if you want to join the panel, and we refer to this situation where we're on camera as the panel. If you'd like to join the panel and you're on Zoom, go ahead and hit the hands up button, the hand button, raise your hand, and I'll make you a panelist and bring you on. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to ask questions there as well. And looking into the YouTube chat right now, the live chat, our dear friend, Kit Harvey, who would love to see you in person and make a trip to British Columbia, but that's just not possible right now. Says, hi, Christian and Mark. And she says, fires all around us in Redding, California, too, and very unhealthy air. And
really?
She says, praying your place will be safe, Christian. Guy Cochran is watching. And on YouTube chat, Guy says, beautiful area there up around Kelowna. Kit says, so sad. And our friend Cosmic Rose is giving us lots of hearts. So thank you all very much for engaging with us here. So Christian, Kit, oh, I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
No, I was just going to say hi to Guy. Very nice seeing you. He's an absolute tech wizard, someone who really inspired me to get into live streams. Got a wonderful shop south of the border and near your area, the DVE store. Absolute amazing person, so positive, and a lot of the gears also behind that I'm using here are from his shop, actually. So
we have a technical question for you, Guy. It's a little off topic, but from the Hancock Wildlife Foundation, Christian has an actual bald eagle there. What's the proper term that I should be using?
Well, it's from a taxidermist,
it's
right?
From a taxidermist.
Yeah.
And it's there next to Christian, and it's not showing up, even though it's in the picture. We don't understand why it's not green.
Well, it's because I have such a brilliant green
background.
Screen. Thanks to Guy, it's a very good green screen. It's like a super professional one. I'm not even using any lighting, by the way. I know we're drifting off topic.
Yeah, but Guy Cochran's your man if you need some technical. We'll save that for the end or the post show. Yes. Okay, so Kit Harvey, she did mention Redding, California has lots of smoke. I know there's a lot more smoke right now in Kelowna and over that lake behind you in that photograph, because that photograph was taken before you left Kelowna about a week ago.
That's
and
right.
and it was even much worse the day you left, because you have another photo that you had in your background that showed a lot more smoke over that lake that you took prior to leaving.
Yeah, I didn't want to put that up. It's just quite depressing, actually. So I thought let's be positive. I put a better picture on, but let me just get to Kit very quickly. I mean, my goodness, Redding, California is so dry and so hot. They've had I don't remember, was it last year or the year before? I think it was last year, where they had these incredibly horrible fires. And I mean, Kit knows a lot more about this than I do. She had to evacuate her home. It was absolutely horrible. And here they go again. And her cousin, Jamie, is a firefighter. He's a fantastic personality, a very good friend also, just like Kit is a very good friend of ours. And they were going to visit us, you know, and enjoy our summer home. And we were going to look at wildlife together. And now we can't do any of that. So the borders are still closed because of COVID. That's the one reason. And then the other one is now we can't even really go there. So it's... yeah, this is the new reality, I'm afraid. So, yeah.
Yeah. Christian, are you talking to your neighbors that are still by the lake?
Yes, we have a few who are there. That they're also the ones who sent us the pictures, and they are very helpful, of course. And we all help each other because you know, even if you would drive there to do something now at your house, you don't even know if you can go there. They can change minute by minute now. So we all help each other. Things like, you know, simple things like just securing the gas, just taking out some things. Our friends have been incredibly helpful to take, you know, some critical things out of the house and storing it elsewhere and so on. So we all help each other, right? It's the wonderful thing about community.
That West Side Road that we talked about, I know we've had recent discussions about, you know, plan B. If the main road isn't available, know the back roads. But if I understand correctly, there really are no back roads to escape that area.
No, first of all, the BC province has done the right thing. They've closed all those roads for obvious reasons, because unfortunately, there are always a few people that are irresponsible and they cause the trouble. It's not the majority, it's the minority that cause problems. And that's why they closed the road. So you can't even take those roads, and you shouldn't. So there's only one road out there, and that is the Lakeside Road. And that you cannot even go north anymore because it's close to Vernon, where the fires are at the moment. So it's only at the moment this is open to residents, and only in under critical circumstances. So one should respect that the firefighters need these areas for saving houses and saving lives.
To help give additional context just to how dry, you know, we hear this year after year, it seems lately, and it can be, we can become a tad numb to it. And it really is sensational and in extreme in ways unlike any other time in known history. That's not an overstatement. That little town of Lytton, which is in British Columbia, in its relative high country. It's not down like in a desert basin. It's in high country. Trains, rivers, beautiful, usually lush, and it burned down to the ground. And prior to doing so, at the end of June, I believe was the date, or early July, there had been that 3 consecutive days of extreme heat that you felt in British Columbia, that we felt here in Washington State, and that little town of Lytton had set an all-time high record for all of Canada.
Yes, that's correct.
It was around 122 degrees, I want to say,
somewhere
Fahrenheit.
It was a crazy temperature. We've never seen anything like that before, ever.
And when people think Canada, they don't think anything like that in terms of those numbers. And if it's going to be hot in Canada, theoretically, it's going to be hotter south of there in Washington, Oregon, California. But no, for some reason, Canada was hotter than pretty much every place else.
Yeah, and look,
North
I'm
America.
not a meteorologist, or it's not even being a meteorologist in this case. You have to be a climatologist expert. It's not even a meteorologist. But what I hear from some scientists that I know is it seems some reason it seems to be also a slowing down of the jet stream. Basically, if that is the case, it may explain why we had such incredible floods in Germany. And I know that from family, you know, they have the extreme weather conditions that lows don't leave there anymore. And for same reasons, very hot regions don't leave anymore because the jet stream is not as active anymore as it used to be, and it's all shifting, right?
Yeah. So Christian, is it kind of a waiting game for you at this point and your neighbors in that area in terms of, I mean, do you feel helpless in a sense because you are removed, you're physically safe, and that of course is paramount, and there's very great, you know, we're very grateful that that's the case, but it's this is going to be a very important night.
Yes, but at the same time, look, I know we're very privileged, right? I know I'm very lucky because we have a second home in Vancouver. Many people don't have that. I mean, talk about the Indian reserves and all these people who, you know, whose all livelihoods are those. Those are the people I really feel for. You know, whatever happens to us happens, right? And you continue with your life. I've always been an optimist. No matter what, I will get up and continue. That's the way I am. And I'll take it as that's part of the things we have in life. But the people who are really at danger are the firefighters, the ones who have their livelihood there, or for some reason just don't want to leave their homes, which I can also understand, even as devastating as it may seem and as wrong as it may seem because they are also inhibiting the firefighting. So I do have understanding for that type of behavior, right? I mean, gosh, if that's what you have, that's your life, you know, that's completely different. So
well said. You know, you said something on camera, off camera rather, just before we started this live stream that I thought was really interesting, and I hope you don't mind me sharing it here and getting you to expound on it. And that is, you know, different people can be looking at the same fire and have very different opinions of it, all the way ranging from this is extremely bad, we got to get out of here, run for the hills.
Oh, yes.
To the people who are saying this isn't bad, you're safe. They're exaggerating. People are blowing it out of proportion. And I definitely detected from you wanting to have a responsible context wrapped around this conversation and anything that you have to say. In fact, you went so far as to replace the picture behind you with one that has less smoke. So how if you were to tell the public, as you are tonight, about just how severe the situation is along that lake, Okanagan Lake, how severe is it, Christian?
Well, in my opinion, and again, this is personal, right? I just want to give you an example of what you know. The Facebook group is very active, of course, also in that community. And I was just reading comments, and so the one person says, and that would maybe will also be my view. Wow, it's about 10 miles, and winds are picking up. It's very dangerous. Next person says, oh, we've had this before. There was a fire that came 2 miles within our farm, and this is nothing, okay? And we survived. So you have these incredible, you know, different points of views. Of course, the one people talk more about their livelihoods and so on, who said the fire is not there yet. The fire is not there yet, and everything's fine. You know, stop exaggerating. Stop being an alarmist. I'm definitely not an alarmist, Mark. I'm not. But in this case, I actually left rather early because when I saw the signs, even of that fire just coming up, the smoke, I just felt it's time to leave. And that was about 10 days ago. I just slowly packed up my things. I saw how badly prepared I was myself. I always thought I was well prepared. When I started packing the car, I saw I wasn't well prepared at all. It took very much too long. I thought I could do things in 5 minutes. It took me a whole hour. Thank goodness, you know, if I had to evacuate very quickly, I would have been completely failed that, right? So I'm more careful in that case. So I took everything that was necessary out. So I would say the situation, to answer your question, is very severe.
I appreciate you being very candid. And just to shed a little bit more light on your packing, because you told us earlier in the week, a lot of camera gear.
Yes.
And so you got an appreciation for how long it takes you to get everything packed away in terms of your valuables and precious items. So for you, it's camera gear. For someone else, it could be something entirely different. The point is, be prepared.
It can be something that it just has a very important sentimental value to it, whatever it may be, right? That's the thing, and that's also why well, if this is your only house, I can understand that people say everything is valuable here for me. I can't leave this, and that must be incredibly difficult.
Yeah. Well, Christian, is there anything that I haven't asked you that you would like to add?
No, just that again, thanks to the firefighters and all the wonderful people in the area. And I just have to say, Kit, I think is still listening. And maybe Jamie, if you can tell Jamie, all the wonderful firefighters that are around the world, or maybe I should say at least in the Pacific Northwest coast where we are, doing a wonderful job. When you really experience it like we do now, gosh, it touches your heart, right? Everything touches your heart. And you see just how important a community is. And I just hope that it won't be too terrible. I'm very attached also to the wildlife, the osprey nests, the difficulties that we have. Yeah, and some people would say, gosh, we've had wildfires before, this is a nature, but I don't agree with that. We as humans are changing nature very quickly. It's becoming less inhabitable for a lot of wildlife, and we are also changing it because I believe this is also part of climate change, which we are seeing effects from now, right? I know some people would debate that, but that is my personal view. So I think, I think of the people, I think of wildlife and everything around us. So, well, we can all wish the best for that. And I'm so grateful to all the firefighters. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, here. No argument here. You have a very popular Facebook page featuring your extraordinary images, primarily of bald eagles, unlike images I've seen anywhere else. And that's not an exaggeration. You have some truly magnificent photography, and a lot of people follow you there. But this week, you've taken the unusual step for you of making it a bit more personal and actually sharing your thoughts on what's happening as you wait out this this confrontation with Mother Nature and the wildfire. That Facebook page is facebook.com/SassePhoto / Photo. I've put a link in the YouTube live chat. So it's, excuse me, facebook.com. Did I say YouTube? Facebook.com.
Oh, no, you said Facebook though.
Did I? Oh, okay. Facebook.com / SSE photo, PHOTO. Okay, there you go. So check it out, and you'll get regular updates from Christian, I'm sure, in the days that follow, because once he starts posting that type of information, I know a lot of people care about him and are going to be wanting to be reassured that the place is okay, and that hopefully everybody else over there is going to be spared as well. So yeah, Christian, any thoughts on why you decided to make that decision to share something from your personal life in this case?
Yeah, I usually separate. I keep a lot of privacy, but in this case, because I gave so much, I put so much energy into live streams. I do this for really non-commercial reasons. It's all educational reasons only. I felt I put so much care into also sharing this, and a lot of effort, really. It was physical effort, just getting to the places and setting up everything. So that's why I'm very attached to this area, of course. And that's why I thought, you know what, I might just this time say something about this area. I put a very beautiful picture of an eagle there, but I just did that an hour ago. But I was debating with myself whether I should do that because, I don't want to be an alarmist. That's not why I put it there. I just wanted to share something that's very much, emotionally moving me at the moment. Yes.
Understood. Christian, thank you so much. Would you mind sticking around for just a few more minutes for the
I
post
will.
show?
Sure.
All right.
Mark.
Thank you. And I want to thank everybody who tuned in live to watch this evening. It's the evening here in the Seattle area where I'm located. Christian, just about 100 miles north of me, just across the border into Canada, in Surrey, British Columbia, this evening. Such a nice opportunity to speak with him and get this follow-up report regarding the situation along Okanagan Lake and in the West Kelowna area. And throughout that area, it's so much concern and a lot of scrambling, I'm sure, and apprehension there tonight. So thank you all very much. If you want to support this type of content, a simple thumbs up if you feel like this is worthy is truly appreciated and really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. If you'd like to even go a step further, I do have a Patreon account now, and you can check me out at patreon.com / Beyond 90 Seconds. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, everybody.